This is actually quite worrying, and I wanted to give my input on it because I cannot believe that we're talking about this kind of figures. Between 50 to 65% roughly of junior job roles are gone. And those are just facts. It's data that has been proven over the last few months and a couple of years. And it is worrying to me that a lot of junior job roles are disappearing. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain two things. One, why I believe the demand for software engineering roles will go up in the upcoming months and years. And two, I want to really explain the main mistake that companies are making right now by not hiring any junior developers essentially to join their teams. So let's actually move to it because I don't want to waste any time. And as you can see here, 60% of junior developers or more by now, okay, they are gone. They're literally disappeared. So I actually wanted to give you my take on this. I've been doing a lot of research on this thing called the Jevons paradox. And the Jevons paradox states that when the demand for a product or a service is elastic, so as we can see here, if the demand is elastic, meaning when the price changes, it increases or it decreases, the demand gets really impacted by those price changes. So, for example, in this case, when we're talking about vehicles, when the cost of fuel goes down, here the demand increases because of the price going down. If it was the opposite, if the price went up, the demand would be decreased. So that is what the Jevons paradox essentially states, that when the demand for a product or a service is elastic, it is very, very, very sensitive to price changes. What we're seeing now with software development is exactly this. We are seeing the cost not of fuel, but of software development or software engineering going down because of AI. So now a company could develop a product or an app much more quickly than they could a few years ago and much more cheaper. So this means that the price of actually developing software goes from, let's say, 100 units down to 80 units. And what this does is it increases the demand for software. It increases the demand for software developers and software engineers that actually know how to build good software. And you'll be like, yeah, Alex, but there's a lot of people now that they vibe code apps. That is fine. There is always people that are going to do vibe coded apps. But if we are being extremely honest with ourselves, those vibe coded apps, at least beginner vibe coded apps, cannot make it into production. Majority of them cannot make it into production because they've got bugs, they've got security issues, they need to be audited, and they just need to be secure applications that users can actually use. So majority of the vibe coded apps out there, unless you're an experienced software developer, unless you know what you're doing, or unless you have started your journey in software development by coding with AI, but really understanding what's underneath the stuff that you're vibe coding, those apps will not go into production. Okay. I don't think that will happen ever. So that gives us a different perspective on this. So, okay, if the price of developing software is going down and we're having an increase on the actual demand for software developers, then why the hell are we reducing our roles for junior engineers? And I haven't been in the tech industry for a long time, but you don't have to be in an industry to know what's going to happen. You just have to study cycles. You have to study how the economy moves and how the economy changes jobs, how the economy just has these cycles that repeat themselves over and over again. So I do believe that software engineering roles and the demand for software engineers is going to go up. It's definitely going to go up in the upcoming months and years because of this paradox, because of the Jevons paradox. If the price for something goes down and the demand is elastic, the demand for that specific product service, in this case a job role like a software engineer or a person as like a software engineer, will go up. So don't stress out. I know there's a lot of bad news out there saying that software engineering is dead and all the software engineers that are now studying computer science are going to be jobless for the rest of their life. I just don't think that it's going to be true. okay, because of this. When the cost for something goes down, the demand actually increases. Now think about it. If there is a lot of companies that before couldn't afford to build a software solution, but now the cost is much less than what it used to be, wouldn't those companies want someone that knew how to do the job to be able to ship an app for them, to be able to develop something internally for their processes, the systems, etc.? It makes so much sense. If the price goes down, the demand is going to go up. Okay, always under the contingency. Sorry, that the demand is elastic. If the demand is inelastic, it won't happen. But in this case, demand is 100% elastic. And just so that you know the differences between elastic demand and inelastic demand essentially happens when price changes do not affect the desire to acquire that product or service. So essentially, price changes that do not change the demand for that. And that happens, for example, with medicines, food, travel, those sort of things. If price changes, people are still going to need to eat. So you're going to buy food regardless of if it costs you $100 or if it costs you $150 or if it costs you $50. So those are the things that would go under the inelastic demand. And elastic demand is the complete opposite. It happens when the change of the price in a product or service impacts demand directly. So in this case, for example, software engineering roles and the ability to develop software. Now, I want to talk about also about why the software engineering industry is making a huge mistake by not hiring any juniors. And it's not something that we're going to see in the upcoming months, but it's something that we're going to see in the upcoming years. Now, I like to see this cycle, this kind of period that the tech industry is going through as this shape. We've got like a diamond shape. And essentially, we have got three parts to this diamond. We have got the bottom, this, we've got the middle, and the top. In the bottom, we have got the juniors, all the juniors that are coming in right now. In the middle, we have got all the seniors. And in the top, we have got all the, let's call them like top seniors, I don't know, but people with a lot of experience that are about to retire essentially. So we've got the top seniors, the seniors, and the juniors down here. Now, what is happening right now? We are seeing obviously this segment right here, all the top seniors that are 50, 55, 60 years old, they're going to retire very soon. They're going to retire probably within the next 5 years, maybe. Then we have got all these seniors right here. What is going to happen with these seniors within 15, not even that, but maybe 15, let's say 15 to 20 years' time? They're also going to retire, okay, because they're going to be sick of working and they're just going to want to retire. And what is going to happen with all of the juniors that have been hired right now? They're going to be obviously seniors. But if you see here, the amount of seniors that we've got in this segment right here is so much greater than the amount of juniors that we have got in this segment down here. And what I want to express and what I mean by this is that there is a lot of senior developers right now that are doing all the work. They're doing all of the work. They're understanding all the systems. They're understanding how AI models build their systems right now. They understand everything regarding a company. But when these seniors retire in 15 to 20 years' time, there is not going to be enough people to actually be able to replace those seniors and do the same amount of work that they are currently doing today. There's not going to be enough people that are going to understand or that are going to be able to understand the systems behind the company, the software, all the code base. They're just not going to be able to do it because the number of juniors right now is not going to be enough to cover all the amount of work that the seniors are doing right now. And this could cause, and I don't want to get super negative here, but it could cause the industry to collapse because when there is no people that can't do the job, where do you get those people from? Right now, what I think companies should be doing is they should be hiring juniors 100%. 100% they should be hiring juniors. Yes, maybe you don't hire as many juniors, but you still hire juniors. Why? Because the seniors, one of the tasks that they need to do is mentor the juniors. And the juniors need to be the ones that, hey, when the seniors say, okay, bye, I'm retiring, the junior has to come in and replace that senior, replace all the work that the senior was doing. And it is a cycle that gets repeated. When this junior gets promoted to senior, then that senior needs to keep on mentoring a junior developer. And the way I see this is that the junior should be more focused on doing all the coding or more repetitive tasks, and the senior should be focused on mentoring the junior, making sure that the junior knows the code base, making sure that the junior knows how processes work behind the scenes, just so that when the senior retires, there is someone that actually knows what the hell is going on in the company. Because if no one knows how to code for that specific company, if no one knows the processes behind something, the company just will cease to exist. There is no doubt about it. So I don't want to rumble much longer, but this is what I think is happening in the tech industry right now. I believe the companies are making a huge mistake, but by not hiring any juniors or by reducing their junior um, job roles openings by over 60%, which is very worrying. And I do believe that software engineering roles will go up, the demand will go up, and this is the sort of structural collapse that could happen if the junior openings don't go up within the next few months or years. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I would love to know your thoughts on this. So just drop a like, drop a comment as well down below, because maybe it's me, maybe I'm hallucinating and this won't ever happen. But I would like to know your thoughts on this. I would like to know, what do you think about all this AI revolution? What do you think about job openings for junior developers going down by over 60%? And yeah, just would like to know different opinions so I can just continue learning and hopefully share some more value with you guys. So anyway, it was awesome recording this video. I really wanted to give my input in this, and I will see you guys on the next one.